What's going on? This is the neonormal. But in all actuality, I want to showcase that actually, even according to this picture here, that this isn't a new phenomenon. What we're going through, this new normal here, it's new to us. But if you study history, and I was unaware of this for, like, look, this is only in the past few weeks or past year or so that I've even been made aware that, look, vaccines have never been safe. They've caused pandemics with vaccines in the beginning, and it's just kind of erased from history, oddly. And we got this kind of like, Cold War paranoia with this invisible enemy. But at the same time, what they were afraid of in the Cold War is actually really happening now. But they're keeping us all distracted with the COVID situation. And I mean, look, dude. Look, and I'd imagine, I don't know if it was the 50s or the 60s. I don't know when this happened, but they had people hiding in bunkers. They were afraid Cuba was gonna bomb them with freaking nuclear missiles. I mean, look, they've been put through all kinds of "it's the end of the world, it's the end of the world" programs, or what was the other one there, man? Yeah. Anyway, man, I forgot what I was gonna say exactly there, but it's as if, yeah, they've been refining this technique, or it would seem like they do it every so often, like it's a whole, this is a way to reset the it's not a reset could mean it could be another word to say a coup, that there's been a change of who's running the company, in other words, of management. But they don't want us to realize it, but they keep it all kind of, behind closed doors, behind the iron curtain, so to speak, of this veil of this artificial scarcity. It's like peace is scarce, and peace and safety so scarce unless we do something about it, unless we, I mean, man, now actually, looking at this picture, those two in the back on the right look almost as if they look like grays, man. And the dude all the way on the left looks like a skeleton, man. He almost looks like Bane. It's quite scary, this kind of stuff here. But yeah, man. I mean, that's the way that's the way they're trying to get it to, like, literally, where we have to live in a hazmat suit to walk around on the earth. I mean, and they're gonna guilt trip us and saying we're causing the pollution. But look, dude, I didn't make no nuclear power plants or nuclear bombs. Dude, I'm not responsible for passing laws, and even my vote, I'm just one dude. Even if I did vote, it's a drop in a bucket, buddy. It's just a drop in the bucket. Stop playing now. That ain't doing nothing anyway. So I mean, look. Oh yeah. Also, with even with alien invasions, okay? Listen, this is ancient technology. Orson Welles did a radio broadcast where they basically false flagged a freaking alien invasion. Even though the dude said this is just a theatrical rendition, every so often, the people got whipped up into a hype, into a fervor, into a frenzy, and they literally were heading for the hills, heading for the bunkers. They were locked and loaded in the foxhole, with all their booby traps were set. And I mean, dude, this has already happened. It's just like, look, they act like, oh, terrorist bombers. But look, they had political groups in the 60s blowing up buildings, and bikers used to blow each other's cars up and their clubs up all the time. There is no new normal. There's nothing new under the sun. It's just this is a time unlike any other. But all the worst tricks throughout all of history are going to be employed right now because they're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at us. So look, this new normal has already happened. It's a rerun. Our new normal has already happened before. This is what happened in Nazi Germany when they started pushing people into the ghettos to get them, like the ghettos parked right next to the train tracks that lead straight to the concentration camp. You know what I mean? And then you just do labor till you freaking die. And I mean, that is a hustle as old as freaking time. That's just, look, that's after prostitution. That was the next hustle, was like enslaving and dominating over strangers. And even in some cases, it got you. Look, once you start off small, but before you know it, life becomes cheap to you, and you'll slit anybody's throat for a nickel at some point. But yeah, this new normal of the persecution of like, let's say, jab deniers. This happened in Rome with Nero when he was burning Nero down, and they were hunting down the Christians. I mean, this is when, you know, like right now with, like, they literally are murderous with this the new normal of like praising someone like a Sanger is the same thing. That's to praise that is equivalent to praising the guy who ordered all the children of the Israelites murdered in the Exodus, or in when Christ was being born. They also made a law to murder all the newly born children then. I mean, the logic is just, look, we're this isn't nothing. This is normal. This is the truth. This is the way it's kind of always been. But the veil is pulled back like big time now. I mean, it wasn't this bad, but that's what's so weird about it. We're so compartmentalized, we don't realize for some people it's been this bad all along. And for others, it's been not so bad. And for others, man, actually, it's been great. It's been Disneyland. And that's why we can't relate, because they got us so compartmentalized, and we're in this kind of neo-feudal caste system, kind of between nobility and regularity and straight up slavery, and then straight up undesirables of a kind of a caste system. And I mean, that's what they're shooting for, like with the whole but this isn't nothing new. They've already done this in India with the caste system. They've done it for thousands of years. It's not nothing new. It's just new to us. This is how it's always been. It's been FUBAR, and they've just been doing a good job at covering it up. But at this point, because they're going all in, all or nothing, it's like they're so caught up in the role, they're still acting, but their mask has fell off. And it's like, wait, dude, is that a freaking synth under there? Is that a freaking droid? Is that a reptilian? What is that? Some kind of shapeshifter? Kind of like on Scooby-Doo. You know, when they catch the bad guy, they whip off his mask, and it's normally some politician or bureaucrat or some kind of like micromanagerial gatekeeper handler position guy who got caught up. You know what I'm saying? You know, they like to do the handling. They don't like it when they get handled, man. And then they fly off the handle. You know what I mean? It's normal to them. You know, I mean, and that's the thing, man. Look, my life, I'd never realized how dysfunctional of a situation I've been through until I actually got outside it and seen alternate kind of like ways people go about life. That there are some people with some salvage refuge of that kind of more of a traditional aspect of life. It's not all FUBAR, shameless, lawless, cutthroat, dog eat dog type of every man for his frickin' self type of a schematic where we're totally under Willie Lynch, where it's everybody versus everyone. But I mean, every household has its own form of this Willie Lynch going on, which means this internal programmed oppression and disempowerment. In other words, so it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, no household is not free of its frickin' of the social ills, man, of our programming and of our just second-hand living amongst the weirdness of life. Just has a tendency to just take its toll on you if you're unaware, especially. But even if you're aware, look, and you're fighting back against it, it still took its toll on you. It still traumatized you. Like, it gave you kind of a little bit of CPTSD or some PTSD, and it should. That's the thing. Look, are we just shell shocked like they were in Britain when the bombs were going off for so long and so often that the people stopped like getting startled when they went off? Like they got used to living amongst the bombs because they didn't have any other choice, and they started disassociating a little bit. This is what it's like living with narcs as well, is where you start to get this shell shock where the thunder and the explosions and the fire is going off, and you got this cold, dead 10,000 yard stare. Or either that, even worse, where you start to get a sick smile on your face, just a little one right out of the corner, and your eyes get that gleam, where now you're a voyeur narc too who's deficient, and now you get off on seeing something. Like, look, now since you didn't get no love or hate or anything, now you don't even care. You just are like a soulless robot now who wants to observe someone else living what appears to be a normal life because you've been so disenfranchised. Look, I can totally see this kind of this like I said, this isn't nothing new. This is what happens in every decline of civilization. This is what people do in every disaster situation. But the difference is in this one, it's mostly psyop. It is literally an invisible enemy. It's like it's a thought. It's a spiritual enemy because it's invisible. It's just an idea. It's just an assumption. It's just an insertion. It's just a insinuation. And look at like magic, people are whipped up under its spell. The spell is the fear. It's kind of like in that movie Apocalypto, when the displaced tribe comes through the tribe and they're all beat up and they look all freaked out and they do a quick trade. And the father says to the son, he says, "Son, I can see you've been infected by their fear." And he goes, I could tell, I could see the look on. He goes, "Son, those people were sick. Do you know what the problem, what they were sick with was?" And the dude's like, "I don't understand, father." And he's like, "Fear." And he goes, "And son, I believe you are infected also with that fear." And look, kaboom, legit, straight to the point, simple. People are more direct, and they don't fluff. They don't word salad. That's a practice of a synth. I mean, you could say like, okay, maybe you're not a robot, maybe you're a human, but maybe your personality is just eclectic, where you're just stealing and jacking everybody's characteristics and faking who you really are. In a way, that's kind of a synth too. Someone who's trying to blend in, someone who pretends too much, someone who don't know who they are. And when they give you these obvious cues and tells, you know what I mean? You should guard your freaking heart and your mind. You know what I'm saying? Freaking, but yeah, and they're literally stampeding us and herding us into this desperation culture situation where it's through the artificial scarcity. It's almost like on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. According to the newer versions, the factory went down and the economy closed up in that small backwater town. And these people, through artificial scarcity, because they didn't know you can just freaking commute to another city, sell your house, move somewhere else, look like the rest of us normal folk have to do. And things ain't scarce. It's only scarce where you're at. There's a drought where you're at. Famine where you're at. It says that even in the Bible. It says, look, if your city becomes oppressed and attacked, it says flee to another city. And there just may become a point where, yes, we're going to have to live nomadic like. And all the problematics of that. You know what I'm saying? It could come at some point. Because, what's to say they don't, to contain the spread of the stuff, they're going to burn down the village, so to speak, and the crops. But really, they just wanted to burn the village and the crops under the guise of some kind of invisible enemy to get you weak and vulnerable. And look, they just wealth redistributed you, and the communists have just now reallocated your property to the state. You know what I'm saying? And look, you're just effed. Nothing you can do about it. File a complaint with their superiors. They don't care. You know what I mean? If you file a complaint, you get a visit from the Gestapo or the Stasi. That was the other one I couldn't remember the other day. Anyways, see, look, the COVID police, the snitching, this is nothing new. It's really not. It's new in the way that they're using it for this power grab. And it is a time unlike no other because of the resources through the tech and the sophistication of their experimentation on us, dude. Is it not obvious to you yet at this point that we literally are experimented on all the time? We are manipulated. We are fed sugar with arsenic in it, so to speak. It is to the mind. It is to the soul. It is to your goodwill. Because every little implant they put in you, it takes a little piece of your soul. And it, literally, over time, you could be body snatched and synthesized. In other words, where you can just be, look, they just ride you so hard that you crack, you become an empty vessel, and whatever they're programming, the parasite has more life in it. It has more control. You submit and agree to it, kind of like a possession, and you give your will over to it. And look, literally, I don't know if can you come back from that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to find out. I don't even want to test it. But these people are really pushing us. Like, look. And it's also, look, dude, there's a word called desensitization or normalization. It's a slow process. It's kind of like first in public, they take a person, they just hit them. And then look, they take a woman and they slap her, okay? Now, they come into public the next day and they slap a woman and then they grab her breasts. And then frickin' they slap some man up and then check his underwear for a gun. Then the next day they come out, slap him, grope him, and search him. And now they spray him in the eyes with the frickin' pepper spray, okay? Then the next day, it's like they come and then they slap couple people, couple women, couple dudes, grope them, hog tie them, spray them in the eyes, then zap them. And like, look, and they're like, look, they just keep getting crazier and crazier and crazier because no one's saying anything. They're just all standing there with a blank expression, like all these people just watching. It's like, as if they're like at a spank theater. You know what I'm saying? They're all watching with that intensity. And it's like, then, before you know it, they're going to be sodomizing. They're going to go slap, hit them with the taser, grope them, peel off their clothes, and sodomize. And then spray them in the eyes with the pepper. And then frickin' look, and then they'll throw them in the cop car, bash their head into the window, drive down the road going real fast, and then kick them out naked with the cuffs on and just drive away. Because they've normalized people and desensitized them to the violence through a slow incremental. At first it's like, well, that just comes with the territory. Sometimes people need to get roughed up a little bit. And then that evolves into, well, if they're willing to make us have to rough them up and I have to break a nail and get dirty, then we might as well whap them with the taser as well. No, actually, we should whap them, rub their face, their nose in the dirt, then whap them in the back of the head with the club while we hit them with the taser, and you spray him in the eyes at the same exact moment. And look, he'll be totally incapacitated. Wait, we might as well. Look, it's a good thing if we just give it to him. Because look, all these people out here will be afraid of us and they don't want to be like this guy. So look, if we do not do this, if we don't all initiate this sodomy, all these people out here will think we are weak, and they won't, and they won't fear us, and therefore we're not doing our job correctly. We're not really burning it and imprinting it into their psyche that we mean business. And actually, we're hiring as well. But you might have to go through a humiliating gang ritual, and you might have to get treated as one of these people first. But then you'll be given your mask, and you can cometh with us with your pitchforks and torches, and we can, bring our own personal style of justice to whoever we feel like dumping it out on. This is normal. And in a normal society, it's like, there's kind of like, what? You don't want to fit into a sick society. Look, just because it's normal doesn't mean it's correct. It's righteous. It's good. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. It's weird the way they work their witchcraft. It's like, but the truth of the matter is, I guess there really never has been a normal. It's always been, they've been making it up as they go, okay? But it seems the only normality in this life is that people, the dark side, once people go to the dark side, go to the narc side, they are totally cruel, manipulative, they will power grab, they will step on toes, they will burn bridges, they will use and abuse, they lack any kind of sympathy, empathy, care, remorse, and they really have a way of sticking it in and breaking it off. And then also they like to get to this position of narcissistic safe haven where they can hit you and you just can't hit back, man. They're experts at setting up these kind of these ploys to instill some kind of dominatory programming in others. Like, look, like it's kind of like they're naturals at MK Ultra and controlling others and manipulating others and imposing their will and staying covert. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. See, people don't see the real. Everyone's like worried about these grandiose narcs. Those dudes are so obvious at this point. It's the covert narc you got to watch out for, because look, they're so reserved, but they're not really. They're just pretending. They're just hiding it. So they're plotting revenge. They're plotting getting even, or like, look, if they feel slighted by you, or if they feel you're advancing faster than them, where it's making them look inferior, dude, they're gonna freaking do something, and they'll do it from ambush or from treachery. Like, look, that they're far more destructive and dangerous. Your grandiose narc might just throw a fit and yell at you and like freaking look in front of an audience. I mean, look, yeah, that sucks. It's embarrassing. But no, the person who really is cutthroat and conniving and is like a sniper, like literally freaking, because look, that's the thing about a sniper. You're already dead or injured. You just heard a shot, and you can't even see the person that got you. You don't even know where that came from exactly at the moment. Look, and look, And they'll do their intelligence on you and their intel, or they'll even employ someone to make sure that you're on the path that they need you to be to get you. Like, look, so they're just as deadly, and no, they're even more destructive. I feel that like the quiet and reserved ones are the coldest and the most evil. I mean, no, look, they're really hot. Like once they fucking melt down, it's almost like, yes, it's like a nuclear reactor. It's like, look, yeah, energy's all good until it melts down, and then it starts to just, you know what I mean? It's destructive and toxic. So, yeah, man, I would expect in the new normal to see more narcissistic rage and a lot of people getting butt hurt because they got their pride all tied up into fake ideological, like theoretical science type scientismists, uh, and political theater. They're all like caught up in the political theater, and it's I don't this. There's no way we should become normalized to their new normal, because it's like, no, dude, listen, nah, this isn't normal. The new unnormal. But actually, like I said, life's always been weird, dude. Listen, we only live for a small window. We didn't get to really see what happened in previous times and eras. But look, there's just too much evidence on this one at this point to where vaccines have had a horrific history of failure from the beginning. And they've also been responsible for diseases. So it's like, look, dude, this is some real dangerous, mad science. It always has been from the beginning, man, it would seem. I mean, that's the thing. Power is power. Look, to do the right thing is power. If a narcissist gets into the position who gets to choose, that's the positions they're going to go for. They like to have that control of life and death in their hands. Like literally, they can just straight up, look, not mean to say it, but anyway, look, they like it a lot. Let's put it that way. And that control, that freaking look, and also look, they love to see people terrorized. Look, bullies love to make people, cause them distress, discomfort, and especially fear. It's like it's an aphrodisiac to these people's like freaking ego trip. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's weird. It's really weird stuff. We got a lot of weird stuff going on there. This ain't nothing new. This crazed, self-centered narcopath has existed in mankind from the beginning of time. It would well, from the beginning almost. I don't know about the very beginning, but from the beginning, it seems this problem has been ever present of the psychopathic, narcopathic, control freak, power freak, picking and choosing who lives and dies, and freaking look, and eventually they start to target like literally innocent people. Like, look, because they're that paranoid. That's the downside to operating off of fear. The fear of losing that control and that power now is like makes it so you are blood in, blood out. Because you know, if you lose power, you've created so many enemies along your way that you know you got it coming. So that's another reason why they get so freaking paranoid and start making all these bad decisions. It's because that fear that they're projecting starts to come back like a boomerang, and now they're suffering from fear. Because the pressure of all that power and all that freaking empire and all that control. Like, look, dude, it's not meant for our brains to do that much thinking about trivial shizzle other people are doing. There is enough stimuli that is sufficient for yourself from life itself if you spend your time wisely and amongst other like-minded individuals who might not have their shizzle together, but at least they're aware of trying to get their shizzle together, and they're kind of working at it, as you know, taking it one day at a time, which is there, like learning as they go. You know what I'm saying? Friggin' look. So, yeah, man. Like I said, look, it's like I don't even want to play deeper into their shenanigans. You look, it's just look, they're playing games with us. It's semantics, dude, and it's just word salad. Like look, history salad. Like they're mixing it up and revisionist history, and they're making it up as they go, dude. Because as if, like, look, there's a paper trail though, dude. We're gonna go back, and it's hard to make the stuff go away anymore, dude. And it's a surprise how bold emboldened these people are with where they've almost like they've given themselves enough rope. Like in a way, it's like they're putting us on a leash to the point where our necks are on the wall with a leash, but these guys got a long ass rope. But look, in a way, they're dangling, dog. They're about to hang themselves with they're gonna get caught up in their own treacheries, dude, and it's gonna be made obvious to all what they have done. Their con jobs. They're not just this con job. Let this con job be a wake-up call that there have been many con jobs throughout history, and we've been lied to about, would seem everything. So, I don't know, man. You got to do your own research. Don't take my word for it. I'm just a dude. Just a dude who freaking likes to think. You know what I mean? And, but I'm telling you, though, I like to think. So I'm just checking stuff out and surveying the land, man. And there's just all kinds of just weird synchrotronic, like not full disclosure. Like, look, that's just a feeling I get all the time. And a person who's really, really, really serious isn't going to be so vague. But when they're being vague, it's because you're trying to get something over on somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's how con men roll. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, anyway, and these people, just listen, they get off on being able to get over on people. It's literally is fuel for them to have a good day, a bad day, to have joy. So you got to understand what's the payoff, what's the motive, and it's really a cheap, sick pleasure, and life is cheap, and people are just toys to be used, abused, and discarded, or even worse, man, to be dumped and listen, to be literally sacrificed, in a way, even, freaking, and you don't see people as people. It's dehumanizing, and that's the way it seems to be the trend.